Hi, folks, and welcome back to Killshot Esports. I am your host and caster, Waffles for Sid, and joining me today is Marks over on the Analyst side. Marks, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, and more importantly, I'm ready for some Overwatch. How are you doing, Sid?
I'm grateful tomorrow is Friday. Looking forward to the weekend. Just get some good R&R. Gonna hit
I
the
hear you.
theme park up down the street with my best
Oh,
friend. So
nice.
excited. But not as excited as I am to actually go to Route 66.
Let's do
Gonna
it.
be our first map. Not one we see on payload very often, to be
Mhm.
honest. I mean, especially, in normal games, a lot of teams don't pick it.
Not particularly, no. And actually, so tonight we've got Team Insidious going up against the casual tryhards. So if their name leaves anything to the imagination, is that they're going to be trying incredibly hard, pretty casually, but we're going to be seeing Team Insidious go on this attack first as they roll out on a little bit more of a dive competition, going up against casual tryhards, more kind of a classic rush minus the May composition here. Um, you know, it's going to be really interesting to see how they want to play this, especially too if the ball dive works out, because that's really good at dislocating those top parts, and that looks like that's exactly what's going to be happening.
Oh yeah, already opening up with a pick here. Team Insidious getting another one to follow up. That's just gonna put them on a very, very fast course to complete this first point. Casual tryhards will have a chance to recontest at the end if they can hurry, but that was a swift fight.
Yeah, and major credit there to Demon Breed. Demon Breed went right for the kill onto Victory Vespa. And as soon as that Ana was taken out of the fight, they've only got Lucio heals to kind of bank on, and especially
Ooh.
too for this rush composition. Reinhardt, also super important. Don't mind Argentina just finding another kill before this fight even's open up. But this is going to be the battle right here.
Oh yeah, another pick opening up, but this time it's going to be in favor of the casual tryhards here. Reinhardt just swinging away, but Team Insidious comes up big. They get together and take everyone down, and that is a swift first point cap here on Route 66.
That was really like it happened in a blink of an eye, really. And you can just see that the way that Team Insidious are playing this right now, it's very much just all or nothing. They did lose a couple of people right off the bat at the beginning of that team fight, but at that point they were all in. There was no hesitation. It was just let's collapse upon the healers, take them out of the fight, and suddenly this is going to be a lot more easier. We see that Argentina here is being pressured down, but it should be no problem at all. That's one of the benefits of the Wrecking Ball. You get a lot more versatility, but here we go. Bob engaged.
Oh, and the high noon's been popped too. Does manage to find Demon Breed. Bob has been thrown there in the middle of the point to just try to take a little bit of space. Teams exchanged back and forth, and it was actually a pretty spread out fight initially. Those dragons tear through, but don't find anything on the kill feed there. It's actually Argentina though, with the help of both supports, coming up big, and that is going to be Team Insidious with a huge opportunity to push. The Valkyries are going to continue to enable them. That anti is discouraging, but with all those pockets coming in from short stack, no one is feeling threatened at all.
Absolutely. And I'm kind of interested to know what casual tryhards were kind of pulling off there. I mean, we saw them commit a lot of ultimates to that fight, and look how it ended up. Insidious barely took any damage. And the
Yeah.
fact is, too, they only had to commit the Valkyrie to that fight as well. Look how many ultimates are online right now for Team Insidious. They're looking amazing going into this next fight, as it looks like
Oh.
tryhards are going to be trying to contest this point.
Yeah, it's only the Tracer here on Tryhards trying to do his best. Arch falls very low and does his best to stall, but Team Insidious uses a couple zoning ultimates to just easily secure that second point and fly through.
It's
Oh,
oh boy, oh no, Hokage, please, we get it. You're powerful in the Hidden Leaf Village or whatever, but you just can't be disrespecting Victory Vespa just out the door. Throws the pulse bomb down and then calls it a day. Right now, Team Insidious are on such a roll. It's gonna be I'm really interested to know why the tryhards decided to swap now to the dive, because typically this third point, that's where you expect a rush composition, but ultimate's being committed. Oh
the
God.
huge diva bomb coming in from Tater Thought there. That was absolutely massive. That's going to stop Team Insidious in their tracks, and will finally Tryhards getting some footing here and preventing Insidious Insidious's quick push.
It's finally going to slow down their momentum a little bit, but even then, that was just because of the ultimate. That's the reason why the tryhards were able to win that fight. But you know what? If Archie Ficus opens that up, then that is going to be a way as well. Just hitting Demon Breed, even though they're going to get some pick damage here, I'm really looking at Hokage to maybe get another stick onto Victory Vespa. But it looks like the fight is breaking out with a Nano Winston on point.
Yeah, nothing really comes through there from that. Oh, but it's a couple exchanges for both tanks on the team. Casual Tryhards throwing a lot at this fight, and that Dragon Blade is going to bring the value it needs to seal the deal and continue to stop Team Insidious from pushing this payload.
And just like that, we see that Team Insidious, they're going to be swapping over to this rush composition. We see Demon Breed immediately going on to the Reinhardt. Argentia is going on to the Sigma as well. I'm not sure if this is pretty standard here. Okay, there we go. Now on to the Echo. It looks like they're rearranging their compositions, but they are going to be opting for a little bit more of a rush style. And if you're playing this rush style, then the thing you want to be paying attention to the most is just isolating your targets and taking them out one at a time. Your team relies directly on moving in and going for the kill. And so that's what they're going to have to do here.
Wall's already been thrown early for Insidious as they continue to move the payload. The rush comp is paying off as the first pick comes through onto Superfluous. There, the sound barrier comes through from Tryhards and, well, is reinforcing enough to let them get a pick from Zeta here onto short stack. It's not going to be enough. Insidious getting the kills they need. The pulse bomb, the bubble and shield save everybody on Insidious there and shut down in their tracks, trying to get that pick. A big pin all the way from down the alleyway, grabs him, gets slept, woken up so fast after that. The wall prevents anyone from escaping, and the bomb there doesn't find anything. Earthshatter didn't find anything either from Demon Breed, and he does go down, but Team Insidious are trying to continue to move this point. Argentia did stall the payload a little bit there, still trying to push it. And, well, all in all, Team Insidious finally falling, and it looks like Tryhards getting their footing again.
That probably was a result of good ult cycling from the casual tryhards here, because they were spacing them out enough, not committing all of the ultimates at once, even though that is kind of a good scary moment, right before that final point here. But look at this engagement right now. They're going to be coming up on a Deadeye, a Sound Barrier, and an Amplification Matrix. That's Team Insidious. And the Amplification Matrix could be deadly because this is opened up here, but these teams are going to be engaging.
Immortality Field has already been committed early from Tryhards, but if the Amp Matrix is given back in return, High Noon finds a kill there, and the Pulse Bomb! He tries to charge out to the back to reduce the damage coming through from his team, but there it is, the Sound Barrier from Yuri going to try to reinforce them. They are continuing to commit to this fight, even though they've lost their tank. It doesn't matter, they're still getting the kills they need. This Blade is gonna have to be a hero Blade if he can get them. Another pick onto Yuri! That's gonna be enough to allow them to stall out here. If they can trickle in just enough, both tanks are on the point, but the pin once again from Demon Breed. He has been pinning people from way down the street here from the payload, and now as come back in the spawn. Argentia throws the blizzard. Everyone's going to be frozen up, but reinforced from the sound barrier from Jeff. Can Team Insidious actually continue their momentum here? Casual Tryhards doing a phenomenal job of stalling this point out continuously. They've been burning down the clock, and it has been relentless because Insidious has been cruising fast. And now 10 seconds left on the clock. Team Insidious still trying to cap, and Tryhards continuing to burn the clock down. Overtime bar is triggered now, and it is going to be a long fight here until we continue to trickle. Oh my goodness, they have got to focus fire these targets down. Overtime spawns are going to be in the advantage of Team Insidious though, and both Ant Matrixes are popped. They got to focus down some of these zippy characters because Jeff can't play, can surely play Lucio. He has been alive for ages. Finally, they catch him in the grab, and that is going to make sure that he gets taken down. The crush cannot be executed from Tater Thought there. And wow, Marks, this was a long fight, but Team Insidious finally capping that point, and Tryhards absolutely giving it their all and stalling out that time bank.
You know what? I want to say major ups to tryhards on that because, they had a lot of time in the time bank, and Insidious were definitely going to be winning that time bank. Yet they pushed them all the way to overtime. During the length of that fight, I recorded at least 2 Graviton surges coming out from Team Insidious. I counted 2 Diva bombs that came out as well. There were 2 amplification matrices. The fact that the fight went on at that final point for so long, even though Insidious were getting their picks, honestly shows just how the tryhards were really good at stalling out that point. Now, ultimately, do they lose it? Yes. However, it's not a lose-lose situation here because if the tryhards are able to get all the way to point number 3 with time still on the bank, then they're going to have an absolute clear win condition, whereas Insidious are going to be doing their best to make sure that they don't get to that point number 3. So, looks like we're going to be seeing a little bit of the Sigma ball composition, coming out here. Sigma loves playing with his 2 little explodey balls, but also it helps when you've got a wrecking ball swinging around on the side. And what this composition is really good at is dislocating the enemy team, especially too if they are playing this rush composition, and then really using Hokage and Argent to just take out those isolated targets when they're kind of up in the air and not sure what's going on. But as they roll out here, let's see how these tryhards are going to put this rush composition to work.
Up in the air and doesn't know what's going on. Welcome to my comp games. That is going to be, I'm going to steal
Ouch,
that one right out of your
relatable.
book. So far, though, casual tryhards moving around this corner already had to use the immortality field. They are crispy from that dynamite coming through from Argent, and it is going to be the McCree and soon after the main tank to follow from casual tryhards. Couldn't quite make it around this corner, but Team Insidious threw so much damage at them coming up that alley.
And this is exactly what I wanted to see from Team Insidious here, They had Hokage flanking around on the back, the little tricky tracer in the back line. And then anytime they turned their heads around, then we had Argent follow up with those snipes. And then on top of that too, Demon Breed just consistently throwing members around. That was perfectly played by Team Insidious here. They only lost Hokage, which sucks a little bit, but Demon Breed, he's already causing problems.
Psychotic through a beautiful Sigma shield too up on that high ground to prevent any of the heals coming through. It is going to be a couple trades going back and forth, and the pulse bomb goes. Oh, it's massive. Marks getting 4 people on.
Gotta be kidding me.
Tryhards.
The tryhards. You might need to try a little bit harder here because clearly this composition is not working. That was an absolute clutch res coming out from short stack, keeping Demon Breed back into the fight because when you have a wrecking ball going on, it's so easy to just swing your attention around, especially too if you're playing that Baptiste or honestly even an Ashe. And that turns you away just for a second. Then suddenly there's a pulse bomb in your face. And then you go boom, and it's the 4th of July. But now, tryhards, they got to move in.
It was the 4th of July. I was going to relate it to confetti, watching all of them explode around. But you're right. Happy 4th recently. The pile driver comes through, and it's going to pop everyone up as well. Does force out the immortality field, but there's some exchanges going back and forth. Tryhards are reinforced here, and they're trying to get aggressive on this team fight. They got to clear some space and move the payload forward here. Jeff Can't Play does go down, but they are coming back with a fire. Argent's fire, though, seems to reign supreme.
Man, I cannot say enough about how much work Argent has been doing here. They're so this team works on distracting. And when they're distracted, then, oh, it's a dynamite. Oh, it's a headshot. And you're losing some of these really important players. And also, too, Demon Breed has been doing a great job of checking Victory Vespa, making sure that the heals are not online for the tryhards. Now, a lot of ultimates coming online. They're matched on equal sides. Let's see how this fight's going to go.
Lux opens up the fight, though, as Team Insidious uses it to instigate here. Accretion follows up, and it does force out the immortality field. So casual tryhards have death on the table, and they've been forced back so far. They're not even near this corner here to contest yet, Marks.
Yeah, and they're going to have to figure something out really quick. They do have a lot of ultimates online, which could allow them to move forwards, but I'm looking at Hokage right now. Hokage can really kill the momentum on this final push, especially because the rush composition uses everyone grouped up together. So here's the fight.
Diva Bomb, I'm not sure if that was the intention of where it wanted to be thrown here. Oh, Hokage is pestering that back line, though, getting aggressive. Bob is thrown from Casual Tryhards, and they are going to need that reinforcement as the Ant Matrix is also popped
Oh,
on top of that. Accretion to the face for Zeta there from Dream Psychotic, but Team Insidious is still falling. Superfluous from Casual Tryhards is swinging away, reinforced now by that sound barrier. Team Insidious has the heals galore, but they have been thrown on the ground, Marks. The pin comes through. Those mines take down one person, but it is a scrappy fight back and forth here with trades all around. Don't go into the mines, Jeff. Be careful there. Tater thought the tank here holding down the fort with the Zippy Tracer, trying to continue pestering around the fight. The Valk has now run out from short stack just in time to avoid the high noon on the high ground. Dream Psychotic does get caught by it, and short stack
instrumental.
caught out behind the billboard. Poor thing gets taken out with the flashbang right after that, but Casual Tryhards clutching it out here at the end and really handling the trickle coming in from Team Insidious. It's about continuing to clean up these players, and those long overtime spawns are not going to be in their favor. Insidious getting aggressive, committing Bob to the fight as they have to be careful with the dodge. The pulse bomb is thrown, doesn't find anything this time, and a fantastic res coming through. Not sure though it was going to be worth it.
He didn't touch.
Off the point. That
Oh.
flux took them off the point, and they just couldn't quite make it.
Okay, Sid, there was a lot to break down for that fight here. Because essentially, what happened at the end of that first round was the tryhards were trickling in for the longest amount of time, giving Insidious, pushing them all the way to overtime, right? It was very like, it was very, let's stall this out for as long as possible. And then Insidious saw that and we're like, that worked again. You know what? Let's give that a go. And that's exactly what they did. The difference being is that Team Insidious had a lot of ultimates online. And so you saw as soon as those players were walking back, we had a Bob committed onto the point. We had a pulse bomb thrown out. And then we had the flux used. And they were all spaced out just enough so that they were able to even stall for longer. And ultimately, it was the flux that just kind of lifted everyone off the point. And unfortunately, the tracer was too far away to touch it. But personally, I would have liked to see the Casual Tryhards try to switch up their composition a little bit earlier there. Clearly, the rush wasn't working against what Insidious was bringing to the table, and at that point, you need to show some more flexibility. They kind of felt like they were getting locked in just because they were holding on to ultimates, but if you're holding on to the ultimates, then what value are you really getting out of them? And I know that, you want to move in and try and get your good engagements, but Team Insidious was just so on top of them with that tracer, with just Argent T getting those headshots right off the bat and the dynamites and Demon Breed flying around all over the place. So really just Insidious looked so much more dominant compared to the Casual Tryhards on that first map.
Yeah, and I have to say, Casual Tryhards did look a little bit better at the end of that first round. Their coordination was there. They were using their ultimates and rotating them a lot more comfortably. It seemed like on this offensive push, it was a little bit more panicked. Not quite sure where they were wanting to always go or aggress from. Whereas in the first round defensively, they were putting a lot of pressure from multiple angles onto Team Insidious as well. Didn't see that as much here, not nearly as easy, but it was very tough for them handling those dives coming in through the back. And
Absolutely.
I'm wondering if either, going the full route of getting more CC in your composition to try to handle some of that incoming onslaught in the back there, where it's just constantly a pester. They still need a mosquito skin. They need some kind of mosquito skin because that's what they are. They're a little mosquito coming back and bothering you.
I mean, that's essentially what Brig is, right? She's
Right?
basically a giant electric bug zapper. I'm
That
sorry,
would be
Torbjorn. Please don't take
such
that
a
up with me.
cool. That would be a really cool shield though if it was like electric
Oh,
on the
absolutely.
front. That would
Absolutely.
be, yeah.
All right. Well,
Needs a
Team
bug
Insidious,
zapper.
Casual Tryhards, they're now going to be going to Volskaya Industries. And let's take a look at what these teams want to be busting out here. It looks like Tryhards are going to be starting us out on this defense using a little bit of that rush style composition here, but this time they've got the legs as well as the Reaper. I'm getting a lot of mixed signals coming out of this team composition here. Usually, you either want to commit to a very fast get in their face and overwhelm them and be like, blah, I'm the boogeyman. Or you want to just play it back a little bit more and let the Reinhardt be a lot more defensive to allow for some of these long picks. But it looks like they want the best of both worlds. So let's see how this stacks up against Insidious's dive competition, because they've looked really good on it so far.
Yeah. And, it's a relatively well-rounded team as far as having legs to be able to help and peel. Does provide a little bit of that extra cover. That dive already came through onto Victory Vespa there on the high ground. So they were prepared. They know that the back line has been bombarded. Argentina gets taken down by those rockets, though, in the meantime. And Casual Tryhards holds defensively very strong on this first point.
You know, I was kind of critiquing the casual tryhards composition, but it looked like it worked out just fine. Okay,
Oh,
losing Superfluous this late in the round might be a little bit difficult for them,
yeah.
especially with the respawner's
Oh,
advantage. I
they
was
might
just
have
about to
just lost
say,
the first point.
Team Insidious, their composition works with all of their players kind of being scattered around and looking for those individual picks, which is kind of what just happened at the end of that point right there. Because even though they didn't have their full team back, they had enough players where they could get some picks. And that's ultimately how they want to be playing this. But now we see Argentina on this Sombra. I'm super curious to see who the hack targets are going to be. I would imagine it's either going to be the Reinhardt or the Zarya. Just shut down some of that shield potential here. But Hokage, meanwhile, on this super deep flank, but charged up
Yeah.
the pulse bomb. So let's see what they want to do with this.
It has been a lot of fighting going around here on the map, and City is taking this point on this first alpha checkpoint here. They knew they were man up, and they continued to aggress forward. Hokage was in the back line, just waiting for Victory Vespa to respawn, heckled him down, took him out of the fight, and Casual Tryhards could not fully regroup after losing Superfluous so late in the fight beforehand. After that, and Victory Vespa went down, it was going to be a crazy comeback if they were able to hold that first point.
Yeah, once again, the composition works because they can play with a man down. They're looking for their individual picks, and I think the Reaper and the Soldier are meant to shut down those opportunities, but it's going to be extremely hard, especially if an EMP gets committed.
Oh, Arch was the only one that was able to dodge it, and it's not going to matter because Hokage followed up with a pick onto him after that. Tryhard's doing their best to hold the point here, but it is a scrappy fight back and forth. There's just a Lucio, and now Jeff has been taken out of the picture. Those mines now fading away. Gonna be some zoning lost in the fight, and there it is. The visor coming through from the high ground from Arch. Can he stay alive? He gets taken down by Demon Breed. Team Insidious does not want to lose this point, and they survive. The Death Blossom coming out from Zeta. The Immortality Field just a little bit too late there to save them. Pulse Bomb doesn't find. Oh, it does. It
Ooh.
finds Jeff. Can't play. They're coming back. And Team Insidious now capping the point with 3:58 left on the clock.
Whoo, boy, Insidious, they've got that wrecking ball to just swing their momentum forwards, because that's exactly what they did from point one to point two. They did not waste a second of that momentum, take advantage of some of those respawners still coming back and just rolling over there and then taking out a couple of picks. How the casual tryhards would have wanted to play that is that they would have wanted to have all 6 members of their team ready to go and then just kind of move in as a squad, power in
Yeah.
numbers. Yeah, teamwork, Overwatch, all
Yeah.
that great stuff. But unfortunately, Insidious was just too fast for them. Just because they were just already in their face and able to just find a couple of picks right off the bat, shutting down
Yeah.
individual members. And at
On
that
top
point,
of the
there was
spawn
nothing to do.
advantage.
Yeah, on top of the spawn advantage, which is
So much,
nuts.
so, so much difference in how far you have to travel to get to the point, at least per point A, when you have that advantage for the first attack. Huge difference. And
Absolutely.
losing main tank so late in that fight, that was a very critical loss for casual tryhards.
Absolutely. But this time it looks like Insidious want to see, they want to show casual tryhards how it's done, because now they're going to be running the rush composition here. We see Argentina on that May. I wanted to point out on the last map, Argentina was doing a really good job of using those May walls to isolate people, but also prevent exits, which really helped out
Ooh.
Team Insidious, especially Demon Breed swinging his hammer around. So let's see how this more of a dive composition from the tryhards is going to work against the rush with a Torp Yard.
Yeah. The Hokage on the Torbjorn, but Argentine is actually going to be the first person to
You're
just
kidding me.
snipe Victory
You're
Vesa
kidding me.
with an icicle right there. Wow.
Someone's been practicing their projectiles right there because that was just right out the bat.
A little bit of harassment coming through on the side for casual tryhard Zeta getting, trying to get some damage onto Dream Psychotic though. So skirmishing around, getting those health packs and charging up ultimates. Main fight here. It's just some poke damage. No one from casual tryhard's quite ready to push forward, even though, oh, there it is. They knew that their tanks were pulled backwards, and so then they went ahead and rushed forward. Great distraction coming through from Zeta on the back end there. That turret, though, is still putting in that pepper damage, finally taken out of the equation. There's the blizzard thrown from Argentine. No one's in the immortality field of casual tryhards, and they're just getting taken down one after another after that.
Man, I would be so curious to be in the comms for Team Insidious because you saw, even with Hokage getting isolated by themselves, like, oh, snap, a McCree's after me here. There was such a fast appeal to just go in and support him and keep him alive. And Argentine has been absolutely deadly on this main. The fact that they already had a Blizzard charged up and ready to go to just absolutely counter casual tryhards is kind of insane. And it worked out perfectly in this situation.
I mean, after that opening icicle pick, we should not be
That's
surprised
true.
he's charging him up that fast. And
That's true.
Casual Tryhards actually has the switch over for Zeta onto this Genji now, and curious to see what he's going to
Okay.
bring. Taking down Hokage already, bringing value from this switch, is going to pay for it with his life. But Casual Tryhards are up by a man. The Ant Matrix has been thrown, but the wall is there to block some of the damage coming through as Insidious backs into this room here to avoid that damage. They give up some of the point because they know they can. It's not about stopping it all from being capped. It's about making sure they don't get it. But with those picks coming through, casual tryhards looking to take the first point.
Argentine just stalling this out literally has an entire mountain on top of it, just hanging out like, please, please. But it's not going to be all for nothing. But, I think Zeta, Genji must be a comfort pick for him because it doesn't really match too well with the current metas or anything like that. But Zeta's good on the Genji. And as a result, he seems like he wants to be picking that more often because that is going to be getting a little bit more value than the McCree was kind of getting. And now look at this. A lot of ultimates coming online for both teams. So, while the casual tryhards, they haven't really carried that momentum similar to how Insidious did, this is going to be an all-out fight on the point with probably the pulse bomb to engage.
There it is. High ground coming up onto the dive, and Molten Core finding the kills it needs and zoning out members of Casual Tryhards. Casual Tryhards, though, they didn't commit anything other than self-destruct on that fight. So I would say that was a very good economy push for them.
It was a great economy push, but hey, guess what? They only needed one ultimate on the side of Insidious as well in the form of some lava on the floor. Fire is in fact burning on the dance floor. Thank you, Sean Kingston. But now they're going to have 5 more ultimates online. Whereas right now, Casual Tryhards, they've only got 4. So Insidious should have the ultimate advantage here. And they should be a little bit more careful how to do it. Zeta might open things up with this blade to try and open up the fight, but it will be countered out pretty quickly by Yuri's, sound barrier here. So let's see how these teams engage.
There it is, the Ant Matrix coming through to open up the fight. The damage is there as Short Stack takes on the duel against Victory Vespa. Sound barriers reinforced both teams, and it's casual tryhards frozen up in the blizzard of Argentine. After that, it is scrappy over here. As you can see, the Tracers trying to find value, but Insidious holding strong.
Absolutely, and they still have an ultimate in their pocket when they need it. Great stuff coming out of Argentine, and that's one of the issues of running a Genji, especially too without that nano. It's scary, and you're incredibly fragile, especially too when you pull out the blade. Unfortunately, Zeta dashed right into the blizzard and got frozen up, getting almost no value out of that Dragon Blade. Despite looking super flashy, it's always super flashy. But now he's swapped over to the Echo pick, and I think Echo is actually a better pick here because there is a lot more burst potential, which is kind of the style that casual tryhards seem like they're more comfortable on. But the Torb turret could pose a lot of problems here, so let's see how this goes.
And Argentine is on that McCree as well. Immortality Field has been committed from both teams as Insidious has gone down, followed quickly by Tryhards. Self-destruct doesn't find anything there. Now it's still Team Insidious holding the point strong. Arch does manage to find a pick onto Dream Psychotic, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough.
Psychotic. All right, we get it. You want to get the remet kill, but at a certain point, you got to be like, maybe it's more important for me to be in the back than be outside in my little baby form and then getting burned down by a tracer. But I respect the dedication. Let's call it dedication. Do I sound like a support player who's gotten killed multiple times by that?
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean,
Yikes.
it's one of the things that Diva players do need to balance. And I think that having that new temptation for them has definitely shown you, like, who's a little bit more aggressive and gutsy or cheeky with their plays. The pulse bomb from Arch is massive. He's been holding on that for a while, but Yuri is taken out with it right out of the gate. He does go down there from Argentine.
Hokage.
Oh, man, the Molten Core. Casual tryhards just can't escape it, and they all get just burned down.
All right, this is going to be extremely tough. They need to get somebody back to this point to at least bring this to overtime. I'm assuming Jeff Can't Play is going to be their person, but you can already see this. Insidious is setting up to immediately shut that down. There still is a little bit of time to get the team in position, but this is going to be an extremely difficult push. We've got dueling Earth Shatters coming into this fight, but a sound barrier is almost online for Insidious, which is a definite advantage. All right, now here's the engagement.
Goes for the flashbang. They missed it. He missed the Earth Shatter flashbang combo, and instead Casual Tryhards lands their own Earth Shatter. Super Flores gets the pin there and continues to swing away. Argentine's trying to find value on his high noon, but that shield, it didn't hold quite long enough. It does go down to the high noon, and that's going to turn the fight. Oh my gosh, Marks, after that sound barrier, Team Insidious is going to have this
in the
bag. Everyone is there on the team, and Zeta's just trying to do their best to stall, but that is going to be a wrap here on Hanamura.
Oh man, what an absolute brawl that final point was. Casual tryhards, they were literally handed a silver platter and then they just kind of took it and were like, oh, this is actually pretty nice. But then here comes Team Insidious and they just slap it right out of their hands. Casual tryhards, they had all of the advantages going into there. That was an absolutely massive Earth Shatter. They were able to take out the Lucio, negating the sound barrier, but unfortunately they just couldn't come in and clean up afterwards.
Yeah.
And then the first pick being on that Lucio ended up being so instrumental for Insidious because when the team was falling low, Jeff Can't Play gets back into it. Or sorry, not Jeff Can't Play, but the Lucio on Team Insidious gets back into it, drops the sound barrier. Suddenly the entire team of Insidious is looking nice and strong and healthy, and they've already burned through all their ultimates. So Insidious is just like, all right, I guess it's time for us to come in and play the good old game known as Overwatch. And they won. Like, it's ridiculous. Oh my God.
Man, that high noon, it burned down the shield, shot straight through him. Didn't quite have all the resources he needed. Okay, Team Insidious tried to do a really nice combination, but the timing was just half a second too slow on that Earth Shatter. Saw the flashbang come through to stall out Casual Tryhard shield, and then just after that, shield was back up, and then the Earth Shatter came through. But in the end, it worked out for Insidious. You talked about how it felt like they just slapped it away.
They did.
Holding, like those huge buckets of popcorn. I feel like I was just walking casually. I'm excited for my movie, and someone just came up and was like, "Whoa, gone," and it just flew over my head. I was
like, well, now I'm sad.
I thought I was gonna enjoy this whole thing.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, you know what happened? Casual tryhards hesitated for just a second, and Sid, do you know what happens when you hesitate?
No.
People die. A little bit dramatic, I admit. I might have watched a couple of too many of those war movies growing up, or the spy movies, whatever. But regardless, what a turnaround from Insidious. And now we're going to be seeing these teams going up on our next map on Nepal. So this is just control points. Super interested to see what these teams want to be doing now.
I gotta say, both DPS on Casual Tryhards were really trying to do their best. They're trying their hardest. Gotta make the joke at least once this cast.
You got it.
But But they were doing a really good job at pulling the attention of Team Insidious away. It was very clear to me that they were waiting for that pressure to come through, force the tanks from Team Insidious to turn around, relieving pressure from that front line. Because as soon as that turnaround from those tanks happened, from particularly Dream Psychotic, it's the off tank role. Of course, they're the one peeling. That was when Casual Tryhards tried to push through the choke.
Yeah, and that makes things so difficult, you know? Like, if you're pushing through a choke and what do you call it? There's a lot of pressure up in the front. You're going to have a bad time usually, especially too that both of those teams are playing a little bit more rush. And once again, Argentina was just so good on the bay. Just so good with those ice walls and finding headshots with icicles. Like that is something else here. But it looks like we're going to be seeing a rush go up against this ball divey composition coming out from Insidious again. So let's see if this time Casual Tryhards, they're able to turn this around.
Yeah, I definitely have my eye on the pharmacy because they're going up against Zeta. Zeta doesn't have any aerial heals too easily, but it is going to be Hokage that's actually picked first in this first engagement here. Once again, Casual Tryhards getting another one in their favor, but not going to last long as they are still only going to be one man up after that res comes through from short stack. This fight going around on all sides of this point here as they're just skirmishing around side to side with Team Insidious being so mobile, they are zipping around and can't quite zip away in time as more kills are starting to come through for Casual Tryhards here as they're about trying to look and cap this point. But Marks, no one's capped it yet. No one's in possession and it's not ticking up anywhere for anyone as exchanges are still happening for both teams. There it is. Finally, Tryhards taking it for themselves.
Yeah, and now we can just see that Insidious is like, all right, fine, you win. Let's back up. And they're pulling out a little bit of an interesting idea coming from here. I do like the swap from Yuri from that Zenyatta onto this Brigitte because I think that's going to help just with sustainable healing all around. Zen can only pocket one person at a time. But Dark Psychotic on this hog, let's see some shit happen, okay? Let's see those hooks come through. That could be a lot of squishy targets here. And especially with Demon Breed flying around, okay, this is it.
Wow. They just absolutely dove the back line there, regardless of the Amp Matrix. The Immortality Field had to be committed early for the Pulse Bomb, and after that, Insidious waltzed in and unleashed their ultimates.
Absolutely. And once again, Demon Breed is just doing a great job of being distractions. You know, you saw, what do you call it? Casual Tryhards. They got behind that amplification matrix. We're like, come at us. We're ready. And then suddenly the ball strikes down behind and all of them went, oh, snap, what's over there? But then the next thing they knew, they turned around and Insidious was in their face. You know, you had ultimates popping off left and right and a hook flying around. What do you even do at this point? It's so difficult for them to be able to do that. And they need to do a better job of either punishing this wrecking ball or honestly ignoring it and just rolling forwards. And starting out with that pick onto short stacked is a great first step.
Huge. That's a huge pick onto short stacked. A lot of heals off the board for Team Insidious as more of them continue to fall afterwards. There's Demon Breed pestering the back line once again, but Tryhards getting the momentum shift they need to take this point back. Insidious gonna do everything they can to stall out. Ooh. Solo shatter onto Dream Psychotic because we're done watching you spin around. Or
they were just like,
Demon Breed, my bad.
we've had enough of you distracting us, so we're gonna make sure you have to take your time walking back to this one. We're rolling back, you know, potato. But once again, a great job from Casual Tryhards. It seems like they actually paid attention because to what I was saying, even though I know they can't hear me, because they started to just really focus fire, which is how they're going to be winning this out. But Demon Breed coming in now. Let's see how this goes.
Man, Arch dodges the Pulse Bomb just to get barraged the next second. After that, Team Insidious just unleashing their ultimates and continuing to press forward. That was 4 ultimates committed.
I'm going to say overkill, but I am going to say maybe you could have held back on a couple of them.
I mean, Hokage's already at 50% again, so.
That is true. And they will have the rally, which just makes your team so much more durable. And Dr. Psychotic with the whole hog will be great at zoning. But It's going to be really hard because if Zeta gets a duplicate off, can't duplicate when you're dead. So that's going to be an immediate stop. Hokage and Demon Breed doing a great job of kind of slowing this momentum down. But you know what? With all of the ultimates coming online for casual tryhards, this might be a press queue to win situation here. And especially with where the percentages are at, that could be what they need to secure this point number one.
Oh, the flashbang misses Hokage, but just by the skin of his teeth there. The rally is popped for Insidious, and
Oh
High
no.
Noon on the side doesn't find anything. Arch is caught out alone by himself after that High Noon, and now Team Insidious has everything they can to win this point here. They try to take their own, they get a taste of their own barrage, and a self-destruct comes through, but it looks like Insidious is going to hold strong on this point here as they continue to get the picks. Tryhard's trying to trickle in, but Marks, that is going to be a first round for Team Insidious.
And that was kind of what I was worried about. And, you know, the way that the momentum that Insidious plays at is just at a different level from the tryhards here. And I think that was really exemplified with the Deadeye that came out at the beginning of that fight. We saw the Deadeye, and I cannot stress the importance of either getting short stack or Argenty out of the sky there, because they were both building up their ultimates, and that is game changing, especially too with how that point works. And that's exactly what happened. You saw that as soon as that Deadeye got missed, Insidious was just able to take that momentum, and they were just able to roll over to casual tryhards. You know, a lot of ultimates came out, but Insidious has shown that they are really good at adapting to them, even when all these ultimates come out. But now, let's see how this goes again. Looks like we're going to be getting pretty much the exact same compositions coming out from both these teams, minus Zeta now on the Tracer instead of the Echo.
All right, so a lot of people from Team Insidious going to be looking to take tryhards down into the pit of despair.
Into the
Down.
pitch. Sorry,
Great
I had
Princess
to.
Bride fans out there too. Oh, tryhards! They are coming out on top though of this fight, getting a lot of kills in their favor, especially opening up the fight there. But back and forth, they can't over-aggress. You gotta be careful. That fair is gonna be deadly, and Dream Psychotic on the Hog is going to be easily someone who can pick and hook you when you're not paying enough attention. Point is not capped in anyone's favor yet, but casual tryhards finally taking it.
Archificus, sir, that's what we need to see here. Also, too, it just seems like casual tryhards are now trying to up their momentum here, which has been extremely good because they're matching Insidious right now, and Insidious look a little bit panicked. You know, their team might not be as close together, just relying on kind of that natural team symmetry. But with the speed that the tryhards have been playing at, this is what we needed to see from the team in order to counter them. Argenty opening up with the barrage.
Oh, Reinhardt, he's caught all alone, and there he is, goes down in the room by himself. Archificus does go ahead and get that high noon kill onto short stack, which is going to be huge for casual tryhards. No heals coming through for Insidious, and it's going to be tough with just Lucio there to save him. The whole hog, though, taking Archificus out, and Insidious taking the point in their favor.
Honestly, even though the tryhards did lose that fight, I think there should be okay about that because they were able to get 32% on the board. And also, too, they forced out a couple of ultimates that were building up from Team Insidious. Now they're coming up to a couple on their own, and I'm going to be looking at Quantum to charge up that Nano first, but this is going to be a fight in the arches.
Yeah, I mean, the fight's already over after those initial picks. The
Oh
stun that came
no.
through, and I am really sympathetic for Archficus right now. He's been getting stuck by pulse bombs or pulse bombs thrown at him constantly from Hokage. He probably feels like a support right now.
Woof. I feel a little bit of pain behind those words, Sid. But you know what? To be fair, I think that's a really good read from Team Insidious. They've identified that Archificus has been an ongoing problem when they keep him alive. And so now they're really trying to pressure him out to minimize the value that Archificus can get. And with that in mind, then they look so good at just surrounding and overwhelming this team as we see Hokage get an opening pick on Victory Vespa.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for casual tryhards to break through this choke here, and it's narrow. And Team Insidious has everything to just continue to bombard them as they try to move forward here. The pick onto Demon Breed here from behind is going to be a little bit of a a wrench in the chain for Insidious. The res is offline. So this is an opportunity for casual tryhards to really open the gates and get a real pick that's going to stick and last for a minute. Doesn't look like it's happening quite yet, though. They're moving around the side. Hook is blocked, and Earth Shatter
Ooh.
comes through, taking
Oh.
out quite a few people. The barrage response, and well, the charge off the map isn't going to help as much. But Casual Tryhard's trying to make a stand here on the point here at the last minute. OT bar has been triggered, and it is the Diva and the Tracer doing their best. Dark Dream Psychotic throws the whole hog, and it is going to be nasty to try to step back on the point after that. High Noon from across the way doesn't find anything, because that is the sound barrier from Yuri, keeping everyone from Insidious easily topped off after that. And once again, Team Insidious taking the second point here of Nepal.
I think Victory Vespa needs to go to the mechanic to make sure that the power steering is working, because unfortunately, yes, it is pretty good if you can trade out a main tank at the beginning of that fight, but not a Lucio.
Yeah.
Lucio. And unfortunately, that just allowed Team Insidious to win because they were missing their main tank, and sure, they were a little bit slower. But look at all of the heroes that they're playing. They're all based around being pretty nimble in the areas, okay, maybe minus the hog, but they're usually pretty nimble just around the battlefield in general. And so losing that Lucio is honestly not the biggest deal. Meanwhile, Casual Tryhards, they lose their main tank. They lose one of their main chess pieces to their composition. Not a great look, but let's see how they go now. This time, a full dive coming out from the Tryhards. We haven't really seen them on this, so let's see how this goes.
Yeah, we're here at the village of Nepal. Usually a lot of close quarter fighting, and it's Yuri who's picked off first from Superflos on that dive, coming out on the Winston. So a little bit more of a mobile comp from the casual tryhards, and everyone is flying around in the sky, throwing in that pepper damage. Looks like tryhards getting set up on the point, looking to hold down the fort. Team Insidious lost a couple of people, so they're giving some room marks, trying to regroup just a bit.
And now, I talked about punishing Demon Breed on that Wrecking Ball, and it seems like this composition is really good at doing that. They seem comfortable on the dive, and I understand that this is a scrim, so maybe that's why they were trying to force the rush, because maybe that's not what they're most comfortable on. But like right now, you can just see how quick they are to just surround and isolate and destroy targets from wherever on the map. But Hokage opening up this, this is probably not going to be a good fight for them.
Yeah, with that opening pick from Hokage, it's going to be tough for casual tryhards without that support coming through, and the damage has just been so massive that Pharmacy hasn't been targeted quite as often as it probably needs to be. But I love this stall coming through from tryhards. They really squeeze every bit out of the point.
Absolutely. And look at that. They already got up to 45%, but now they're going to be moving into a Pulse Bomb, potential Valkyrie, and a Barrage. This is going to be a little bit difficult for them to be able to capitalize on. But if they show that they can quickly isolate and dive on and pick off these individual targets, then this could go in their favor.
Oh, a high barrage comes through from Argentine, and there's the mines following up to zone members of Tryhards back even farther and keep them split. Just the tanks and the Tracer alive, and that is going to be all cleanup.
Oh boy, it's not looking too good for the casual tryhards right now. You know, when we talk about them isolating and diving onto a target, it seems like they need to just do a little bit of a better job at picking which target they want to be choosing, because they kind of split off in different directions, which immediately devalued how their composition is going to be working. And Argentine opening this up with Hokage is not how you want to start this out. Now Insidious are just going to be in charge of this point, getting so much more percentage on the board already, forcing out the Valkyrie just to keep everyone healthy. Hats off to Team Insidious's DPS here.
Yeah, and Team Insidious just aggressing forward, continuing to bombard casual tryhards. It is not easy for them to take space, even when they're coming out of spawn. A great block comes through, though, from Victory Vespa, taking that pulse bomb for Quantum when they're in that vulnerable state. Wasn't going to be enough after that, though. Another kill comes through from Hokage in a different way, and now it is a fight back and forth. Rez is all around the board marks, but casual tryhards try to do their best. It's still Insidious in possession of this point, but they are throwing everything they've got at it here. We're getting into last fight, where we are in last fight territory. Is the point's about to be in overtime, and it is make or break it here. The barrage straight in their face here from Team Insidious. Victory Vespa finds one with that self-destruct, but it is a back and forth for both of them. It's gonna have to be a miracle for casual tryhards if they're gonna flip this point, and after that, all it is cleaning up poor Superfluss here, and it's gonna be Team Insidious taking this third and last map of Nepal.
Man, I feel like I should find a medal for both of the supports for Team Insidious, because they not only kept their team alive, they also kept themselves alive. And especially too, when all of the like people are flying around, it's a brawl on the point. Ultimates are being popped left and right. Usually the supports are the first ones to get picked off.
Yeah.
But both Short Stacked and Yuri just did a great job of ducking, dodging, diving, doing all that good stuff to make sure that they were dodging all of that damage in order to stay alive. And I think that's ultimately why Insidious was able to win out that last team fight. Because if you looked at the casual tryhards, they lost their supports really early on. And as a result, their sustain was next to nothing. We saw two sets of mines being thrown down from Zeta on the Echo, but even that wasn't enough. Like, that's another tank on the board doing a lot of damage. But
with mines.
yeah, with double mines. Like, that's so much zoning. And yet, once again, Insidious, they were just able to stay alive. And if they wait out the long game, burn through the ultimates coming out from casual tryhards, then they can just capitalize. And right now, Insidious is looking incredibly strong in all of these battles so far.
I totally agree with you there. Casual tryhards, though, do seem to be getting a little bit of traction. I saw some additional pulse bomb dodges coming through from both supports and from what is it? Archificus. Uh, poor guy. Still feel bad for all the sticks he's gotten. But, I see that they're slowly adapting and they're catching on to, what Team Insidious is throwing at them. But we'll have to see if the adaptation continues. We are going to throw it to a quick break, folks, and we'll see you back on the other side. Hey, folks, and welcome back to our Killshot Esports Scrims for the evening. We are Waffles for Sid and Marks covering Team Insidious going up against casual tryhards. Now, so far we've seen Team Insidious take the last two maps, but it's just Scrims, so take the last two maps, of course. And casual tryhard's been working a lot of rush comp. A little bit of dive came out, but I think they're getting smart and starting to notice all the pulse bomb sticks that are happening.
Yes, but also Insidious has just been so on top of everything. It's hard to discount how well they've been just playing as a coordinated unit throughout what we've seen. They know when they need to peel off for their team members just to keep them alive. They know when to hard dive certain players, and their team comp. They just seem like they're overwhelming casual tryhards right now with just how well practiced they feel.
Yeah.
It's masterclass, honestly, coming out from Team Insidious right now.
I was actually here a couple weeks ago covering one of Team Insidious's scrims, and Team Insidious is about a 3K team. They went up against, I believe it was a 3.3 or 3.4K team, and they really went toe to toe with that team. It was
I
quite
believe it.
surprising. And this to me is really showing that they have started to progress beyond what their current, number status and ranking shows. Everyone knows what it's like to play ranked, and
It's
playing
terrible.
on a team is so different. And
Oh, yeah.
the amount of strategy and types of plays that you can execute are significantly different than what you would do in, normal queue up or find a group.
Exactly. And, we've seen them play different compositions as well, and it's just been fantastic no matter what they're doing here. Now, we're going to be going to Oasis. So, another control point map. Let's see how things go. As it looks like these teams, they're going to be getting ready to go.
Yeah. Not quite sure what casual tryhards are going to roll out, but Team Insidious here continuing to look strong on the divey comp here. Very fast rolling out. They've been so comfortable on that fast composition, really working around the different angles, putting that pressure on. The scouting information from Argentina is going to be so critical, and timing their attacks as well. It's going to be absolutely key. They know where everyone is and when there's turning around. Archficus, though, going to be the first person to get the pick onto Hokage. The
Ooh.
hack comes through, though, onto the Hammond in response and does get taken out. Quick res, though, coming through. Tater Thought knows that he needs to be brought back because that is a lot of displacement and a lot of space that can be held for them. Dream Psychotic does manage to find Tater Thought, though, in response, and Team Insidious continuing to hold this point and just trying to stall it out as long as they can. It is in their possession currently, but casual tryhard still trickling on.
Look at the kill free just light up with Demon Breed right now. Demon Breed is flying around like no tomorrow, just being such a menace. But Argentine on that Sombra, we've seen this guy play the hit scan, we've seen him play the Pharah, and even on the Sombra, being able to isolate which targets that they need to hack, and they're all super effective. You see, right after the hack comes through, Demon Breed, Hokage, they're on top of it, immediately punished and taken out of the fight. And that's what we really like to see from this composition right now. So hats off to Argentine, really keeping this alive for his team.
Yeah, and there it is. Team Insidious still holding the point here. They've got the mines online, so not sure when they're going to use that yet to zone out, but the duplicate coming through from tryhards onto the Diva. The bomb potential for them to zone is going to be massive, and there it is. Does manage to
Ooh.
find the kill onto Demon Breed. It does respond in kind, though, from Dream Psychotic with their own bomb. The res is successful for Victory Vespa, and now Casual Tryhards looking like they're capping the point and finally gonna be able to flip this over. Oh, just kidding. Maybe not. I had a lot of pixels on my screen, I'll be honest.
Once again, I think this is just on account of how well Team Insidious are practiced in this specific composition. That playing around that Wrecking Ball and Hokage Tracer has been absolutely deadly. And the fact that now they've got Argentina to help them out with the hacks as well, this has just been overwhelming for the tryhards to do. But now we're in overtime.
Overtime, and EMP is there, finds a whole bunch of people from casual tryhards, and oh man, it's actually Hokage. The mines are absolutely shredding Team Insidious. They just ran straight into him and opened the door for casual tryhards to go ahead and flip the point.
Man, just when everything seemed like it was about to be lost, the tryhards came through off of the back of Sir Fluris, and they were just able to walk in, and it was all good in the hood. Those mines were absolutely instrumental just to zone off Team Insidious, but also to punish them whenever they tried to reaggress into it. And it also allowed enough time for the tryhards to regroup and get back onto this point. But Team Insidious, they're definitely not out of it yet, and as soon as Yuri builds up that coalescence, that could be deadly.
Yeah, that could be absolutely deadly. And there it is, the pile driver opening up the fight. A pick already for casual tryhards. The hack can't quite be capitalized onto the Hammond there, but coalescence is all around for both teams. They're throwing everything they can at it.
Oh,
And that was a massive bomb coming through from Dream Psychotic, taking down both supports. Team Insidious just knocked the doors down in this fight and opened up every potential for them to flip it over and take this point for themselves.
Usually the Diva Bombs, you don't get a ton of value out of it, but that was Psychotic showing us what was good, and that's we're seeing a stick from Hokage just for good measure. But it looks like that they are going to be trying to recontest this point, as the sound barrier is going to be coming out to try and keep everyone healthy. But that's going to be the first point going to Team Insidious.
Oh, yeah. And that was, a pretty standard showing from Team Insidious, like we've seen before. Very comfortable on that mobile composition. And I gotta say, just continuing to bombard casual tryhards. And the EMP was beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love me a good EMP, and that's exactly what we were getting delivered. Of course, Argentina. Who else would do it?
Yeah. Um, Not quite sure who could really shut that down either. With Sombra, you just have all the vision in the world to truly, see exactly where you need to be for your EMP. Most Sombra players, the big mistake is just being a bit too high from that translocator throw, and you don't hit anybody.
Yep, yep, yep. It's always a little bit of a whiff in the air, but here we go. Teams fighting.
Yeah, and go ahead, take it away. I don't quite have vision on the game
Okay,
yet.
no problem. I can step into the play-by-play here as Dr. Psychotic is going to be moving in here. He's going to get dove upon, but it's not going to be too big of a deal because he's got that defense matrix ready to go. We're seeing Artificious, Ficus hanging out on this point, but right now he is alone. They're able to take out Dr. Psychotic out of mech, which is going to be an instrumental first pick here. Demon Breed just rolling around, trying to stall it out, letting his team make it back into the fight. He's falling so low, but he's going to be able to escape in order to get the health back. Now, Argentina, he's got this EMP online. You can see he's waiting for the translocator, but he's actually just going to throw it out to shut down Zeta right out of the air with the DPS down. That's going to allow Insidious to just move in here and take over the point. Hokage got this pulse bomb for good measure, but they probably don't need to be using it right now. But it's just going to toss it to the back line, taking out the divas from the suit. This is still a fight going on right now, and it is still in the hands of the casual tryhards. Even although Insidious has been putting in so much work, unfortunately, they weren't able to capture the point. And so this is still going to be a fight, still percentage ticking up for the casual tryhards here. We're seeing the Wrecking Ball come through once again, but Zeta has swapped over to the Reaper now, trying to take that close range combat into their own hands here. But once again, it looks like Insidious has to completely regroup here because the entire team from casual tryhards has had enough time to not only die, but completely respawn. And now they're going to be taking the fight on the right
Ooh.
side as the mines are going to be coming out onto this point. But this looks like it's just going to be yet another brawl. Hats off to the casual tryhards for being able to stall this out for such a long time.
It's been incredibly long on this stall and continuing to do so, holding strong here. Zeta here just so much value on this Reaper, absolutely slaughtering people left and right in the small room, dodging out. 69% already in the point captured for casual tryhards there, and they're still getting picks. Insidious needs to do a true regroup if they want to have any chance of taking the point back.
This is something else, Sid. The tryhards are able to somehow find enough sustain in order to keep themselves alive. And now we see that short stacked is going to be moving over to this brig. I think that is going to be helpful. Lucio's speed is good, but with the momentum that the tryhards have been playing, Insidious, they got to change something up here, and this could be it.
Oh, there it is. A huge eat from Victory Vespa onto Hokage's Pulse Bomb. They finally taken that one out of the equation, but Tater Thought is going to be the first person going down. That Death Blossom, though, absolutely massive, taking out Short Stack. He gets hooked out of it, but it doesn't matter because Casual Tryhards absolutely dominating that round, Marks.
Yeah, casual tryhards, they pulled up their pants and they showed us that they are going to make this competitive against Team Insidious and probably what was the best showing we've seen from them this entire time. Now, you can see Team Insidious, they're questioning themselves, what do we do now? What can we do in order to make this work a little bit in our favor? It's now tied up 1-1 on this map, so whoever is going to take this third point is technically going to win, even though we're on Scrims.
I mean, they are going the distance, and Casual Tryhards just arguably showed us a whole different team than what we had been seeing previously. Very, very good coordination. That seemed like their focus fire was on point, and they knew exactly what plan they were trying to execute as a unit together. So far, though, Team Insidious has been starting off this fight. Argentine is on the high ground looking to find those picks on the Doomfist, just hopping straight in there. And oh, a Demon Breed manages to take out the opposing tank there to open up. Argentine finding that value onto the support line as well. And now Insidious trying to find their value and come back. They did lose a couple people, but no problems there as they've capped the point.
I understand Argentine is obviously to be trusted on this DPS role, but I don't know that I agree with this Doomfist pick. It is high risk, high reward. Thankfully, you do have Hokage, but I think you just get so much more value out of a Mei, especially with those isolating walls. It can be a lot better for how this composition does want to be played here.
Yeah. And well, Team Insidious going to be pushing, going to have to hold strong here and continue to just wait for Casual Tryhards to push forward. High Noon is popped and
Oh,
it's Hokage that's caught already. I'm not sure where he was or why he wasn't in some cover for him to get behind that High Noon, but man, he was just not quite ready. Casual Tryhards continuing to aggress forward, and that was the momentum shift they needed.
absolutely. And actually, I think I like Zeta playing on that Reaper, especially too with how Insidious has been taking this fight. They like to play all over the place. Obviously, they are moving as a unit and all of that stuff, but thankfully, Zeta's able to find some isolated targets, and a Reaper flying around with two shotguns is going to cause a lot of problems. And now we see Argentine move over to that Mei. Let's see this go. Classic rush composition as Hokage opens this up.
And there it is, a grab thrown. A lot of Team Insidious stuck in there, but they've got that sound barrier. Are they going to be beefy enough to withstand and sustain through it? May's body flies forward from the High Noon. Gotta
Surprise!
love those, what is it, post-death physics.
It's
Absolutely
inertia.
golden.
It's inertia.
Yeah.
Call it inertia. Bullets fly fast. Fly fast. There we go. I said it right.
Say that one 3 times fast, though.
Bullets fly fast. Nope. Okay, I'm already done. Alrighty. Well, anyways, these teams
Diva
are going to be
Bomb
engaging
flying over the
again.
top. Already opening up the fight. Insidious still doesn't have anything resulting from it except for Demon Breed falling down. 3 people caught in the Earth Shadow to follow up. And that is going to be Tryhards filling the kill feed and taking back the point in their favor.
Yeah, and what great coordination coming out from the McCree and the Reinhardt. You got the Earth Shatter come down, everyone's stunned for a second. And as soon as they're about to be unstunned, they're still grouped up. We see that stun grenade fly up into the air, and suddenly 3 people are stunned once again, just allowing casual tryhards to be able to just walk over it. So great job, great coordination coming out from all of those, but they really need to find an answer to this Reaper now. Team Insidious does, sorry.
Yeah, that Reaper has been just pumping damage into them, and they gotta do something to mitigate it. Demon Breed falling low. Oh, and almost gets taken out. That Coalescence nasty there. He drops so many
Oh,
people on the ground. Manages to almost
oh.
single-handedly turn this fight himself. Finally taken down, but holy smokes, that was a lot of carnage in that small room.
Especially too when you're in that little room and you got a lot of rocket hammers flying around, it's not going to be a good time if you're any of one of those squishy targets. But Demon Breed really tried to keep it alive for their team. That shatter would have been the answer, but unfortunately, it was just a little too late as most of the team was already dead. Now, they're coming in with a couple of ultimates here. Let's see how this goes.
High Noon doesn't find anything, pulls the trigger fast, and well, casual tryhards still have possession of the point. We're about to hit the overtime bar, but Insidious has already gotten some picks. They've been dropped on the ground though from the Earth Shatter from behind, but the follow-up isn't quite there. Zeta though coming in hot on that McCree, just like you mentioned, they gotta do something to mitigate him, and there he is walking through the front gate, just trying to put the damage down. The heals are there for him, and he gets another kill. Oh my goodness, this Reaper is an absolute monster coming out from casual tryhards as Insidious gets pushed back. The sound barrier from Yuri keeping everyone extra topped off, extra beefy, and they are aggressing forward, probably a little too much as they continue to fall one after another. Casual tryhards flips the point in their favor, and that's it. They just take the point because it's not enough time.
Insidious just did not do anything about that Reaper, and the Reaper flanks were absolutely deadly. Just game team battle ending, honestly. That was
Yeah.
brutal to see. Insidious seemed like they were in such a great position, and suddenly this Reaper comes from behind and just takes everybody out. Zeta doing such a great job. Reapers, they're a little bit difficult, but that is exactly what you want to see a Reaper doing. So shout out to Casual Tryhard, specifically Zeta, able to just do so much on that Reaper and find so much value. He was the key to unlock what is Team Insidious.
Absolutely. And I gotta say, that was a great performance from Team Insidious. They were working together so much more as a unit. They looked a lot more comfortable on that brawl comp as well with the rush comp actually. And I wonder if, maybe they weren't quite warmed up for the first couple of maps because that was a lot better round from them.
I would agree, but I do think that on those first couple of maps that we did see the casual tryhards playing, it seemed like they were trying something that they weren't as comfortable on.
That's
And
true.
this is the scrims. This is the time to do that type of stuff because you could tell as soon as they swapped over to some of these different compositions that they were showing signs of life, most importantly, but they were showing confidence. And I
Yes.
think that is something to be said because it was honestly just good to see. And I think that that was kind of the way to go about it.
Totally. But unfortunately, your comfort pick is not what makes you better. It's not what rounds you
Unfortunately.
out as a player. And, it's always good for, good on the coaches forcing the teams to play things they aren't comfortable with because it's much better to do it here than when it's in a tournament and, prize is on the line or,
It
your
does get scary.
seed. So much more stressful to be uncomfortable when there's true consequences.
Yes, absolutely. So you know what? This is the time to do it. And you know, casual tryhards, they have shown that they know what they're doing. Right? Insidious was walking all over them in those first three maps, honestly. But they know what they're doing. And they are trying things out. And to be fair, they are showing really good things, especially to what we just saw in that last map. I'm genuinely curious to see what how they want to adapt here because this is scrims. Do you just continue to try some of these practicing things even though it's not necessarily working, or do you stick to something more that you know
Yeah.
it's kind of a question, but this is where you want to be testing it all out.
Totally. And this is, it's a very different situation in esports compared to traditional sports because scrims are where you practice drills and new comps and executing different plays. Whereas in traditional sports, you just hit the field or the pool and you run your different drills. It's not always the easiest to do without opponents in this esports setting. And, you know, it's much harder to actively learn when you always have to face an opponent, right? You can't do the drill with like no defense because you are playing off of them some as well and trying to bait
Yep.
out those abilities. So the learning of those more uncomfortable scenarios, compositions, plays, it's so much more difficult in esports than traditional sports.
Absolutely. But you know what? Now we're going to be going to the big old, ye old classic map of Overwatch known as the wonderful King's Row.
Kings
King's Row,
Row.
known for that rush style. You know, you see so many Reinhardts coming onto this uh, map, honestly. And the way that the map is built, it works. There's so many narrow corridors, so many places for cover. It just works out because, you know, you're able to just move around and isolate targets and then take them out. So I expect to see a lot of rush compositions here, but this still
Yeah.
could be another case of, you know, trying some new stuff here. So, you know, let's see how these teams want to be rolling out here with Demon Breed on an Orisa, which is a little bit different. Okay, there we go. Back onto this Wrecking Ball. So it looks
Yeah.
like they are going to be playing a little bit more of this rush composition, which has been working. Hokage, though, on the Widowmaker. Let's see how that works out here.
Yeah, well, it was originally on the Widow, hiding behind the Orisa shield for some opening pick attempt, but now they've flipped over to what they truly want to run here for these pushes. Look at that, Demon Breed already in the back line, just hanging out above. Huge pile driver straight down into the back line when Zeta
Oof.
was low. There wasn't even a chance for Immortality Field to save him. Not even close. Demon Breed timing that perfectly, and once again showing off the communication of Team Insidious.
Absolutely. You can just see Demon Breed getting so much value from every single roll through the team and pile driver, whether or not it's landing right on top of May's head or just disrupting this Reinhardt a little bit and now chasing back the enemy team. That's what you want to see from your Wrecking Ball. And that's going to just give you so much space in order for Team Insidious. They should be able to cap the point. You know, they've taken out Zeta. Now they've got free reign here. So that's going to be point number one. Let's see how, what do you call it? The casual tryhards want to adapt now.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see how. Oh, geez, the high noon catches Hokage.
Oof.
Wow. Probably just a little over aggressive there. Feeling good about being on the Hanzo and the time bank, but all in all, casual tryhards are going to try to hold this archway. It can be a place where you get stuck, but not looking like Insidious is going to feel that because Victory Vespa has already gone down, and we've seen Argentee on that Pharah. A barrage from behind is basically inevitable. Immortality Field has already been committed, but it's not no barrage when he's already taken out of the equation. Of course, short stack brings him back to life very, very quickly. And there's the barrage stunned so quickly, but not before Archvikus goes down. It was a back and forth, and Argentee still has the pockets that he needs to continue just this onslaught from the air.
It's a little bit difficult when you've just got a bunch of rockets flying down and hitting your head while you are on the ground from the air. So, you know, really Argentine has been just showing off, honestly, at how well they're able to just play this Pharah. I am curious if Insidious are thinking about continuing to just run this Pharah Mercy pocket strategy, even when they come into some of these tournaments, because right now, Argentine has shown incredible flexibility to be on almost like any of the DPS heroes. You know, the hit scan we saw earlier with Ashe, just able to just click those heads, get those dynamite kills. And then on Sombra, being able to hack targets. But it looks like Archificus is going to be busting out the Deadeye here to try and stall this point out, as Demon Breed has the mines, but it's going to be stalled out just a little bit longer because these mines from the enemy team are going to be contesting it here. Finally, Demon Breed dropping the mines now. That's going to be a lot of pressure, and that's going to just find so much value now. That's going to just be, once again, Team Insidious are just going to be cleaning up here, and just for good measure, a little bit of a victory slam onto the point. Hokage, though, now onto this Hanzo, has that Dragon Strike. If placed in a really opportune location, could really catch some people off guard. And we can already see that Insidious has taken this high ground here. Now we see the swap onto the Widowmaker. Maybe a little bit of desperation, but could be instrumental if they're able to find a couple of picks here. But Hokage, once again, proving to be extremely powerful on this Hanzo. Now, 3 ultimates online. Let's see how this Insidious wants to use it as they
Oh,
open it up on Superfluous.
wow, and that is, of course, another barrage from Argentina, just straight into the face of casual tryhards. If Short Stacked wasn't there, continuously pocketing him for days, there's no way he'd be surviving any of this damage. And another dive coming through. They're trying to
Ooh.
put that pressure on the sky, but it is not quite paying off. The sleep onto the Pharah, absolutely massive, coming out from Quantum, manages to follow up with the Bionade, and that is casual tryhards finding some footing defensively and holding off Team Insidious just before this third point.
And now they've got this rally too, which is honestly just going to be terrible for Insidious to push into. Insidious, now we see a couple of swaps coming on here as Psychotic is going to be going on to this Hog instead. But let's see how this goes, because once again, the rally is going to just allow so much sustain for the tryhards here. So let's go. Let's see how this goes.
A pick early on to
That's
Argentina.
how it's going
Well,
to go.
there, of course, it doesn't matter because the res is once again there. Short Stacked has been constantly keeping Argentina in this fight because they know the damage that comes through and how incredibly beneficial it is. The boop! Poor Quantum there, once again falling to their death. And oh, after that, it is Team Insidious just taking away the fight, continuing to put this damage in, regardless of the mines. They don't care. Argentina throws the barrage right over the spawn, and Team Insidious clears them up and is rolling forward on this point.
Yeah, Team Insidious definitely just wanted to really win that fight. And they still have a couple of ultimates online, specifically that nano boost that they're going to be just investing onto Demon Reed right off the bat. Yuri, though, getting pressured, able to escape. And now this is going to be a final fight on the cart.
Couple people left for casual tryhards, but they are falling fast. Our Superfluous trying to get some picks on this Hammond and stall out the point, but it is looking rough. Argentina is uncontested in the air, just constantly berating them from above. A whole hog's gonna push him away, and there it is. Third point capped with 150 on the clock.
Let's go. Team Insidious looking so dominant, so good. That Far Mercy, it's just something else. And right now, casual tryhards don't really have an answer to it. They are pulling out some of their own strategies, but they need to get something more anti-air if they wish to really stop that composition. Because right now, that Far Mercy is just getting so much value out of there, and without shutting it down, then Team Insidious, they're just going to continue to capitalize on it. They're just going to continue using it to its maximum, which has been absolutely punishing for the casual tryhards here.
Yeah, and casual tryhards were, putting up a pretty good fight. Oh, just a quick pause, no big deal there. And I gotta say, at the very end, seemed like they were getting their footing, but you gotta shut down Argentina. That's really what I think it's coming down to is that Argentina and Short Stacked are berating them from above, non-stop, pushing forward, getting aggressive, throwing barrages in their face.
Yeah.
Gotta shut down that damage.
Absolutely. Like right now, I can think of 3 people off the top of my head who I think that the casual tryhards need to be just a little bit more vigilant in being able to take out. And that would be Demon Breed, number one,
Yeah.
flying around on that wrecking ball, just absolutely nuts. And then next up, Hokage.
Yeah.
Hokage has been instrumental in finding picks and denying a lot of damage and opening up the fights with those first picks. And then Argentina would be the last one because Argentina is the one putting out the most amount of damage. And that's just allowing Hokage to kind of sweep up alongside Demon Breed. It's like they're kind of like the power 3 right now for Team Insidious that are just rolling through everything.
Yeah. And Team Insidious has really, really solid synergy. You can tell that they are comfortable working together and they are communicating to a dime about
Oh,
when
yeah.
they need to be engaging. We saw a little bit of a misstep there on Hanamura towards the end, but obviously it's something that they have been training hard and working on, and looking forward to seeing more of it because those are the small things that are going to set them apart. And that's partially why they did so well those couple weeks back against a higher tiered team or a higher SR team, because they are working hard to push themselves to make those small plays that make huge results with by working together.
Absolutely. I think you said it best when you're saying those small results resulting in the big team wins because it's so many of these little individual micro plays that work in conjunction with each other so well that we're seeing from Team Insidious, which is ultimately why they're going to be winning these team fights. Now, it looks like we're going to be seeing dueling brawls coming out, which I love to see some, what do you call it? Reinhardt on Reinhardt action, two dual hammers swinging into each other's armors, making lots of dents in the metal. But let's see how this is going to go because right now, casual tryhards, they've got to make it to point number 3. And Team Insidious had a pretty good time bank going into this.
And it looks like Casual Tryhards wants to give Team Insidious a taste of their own pharmacy medicine. Here it is. They're trying to open up, but it's actually Superfluous going down to the Lucio to open up the fight. That immortality field from Short Stack was there to keep them alive and fend off Casual Tryhards.
Even though it said that the Lucio was the reason there, I think that's got to be an Argentine play because that Maywall
Yeah.
was perfect. It isolated only Superflurse, and that just allowed them to just swarm in and take them out. I am interested to see how they are going to contest with this Pharah, but Amplification Matrix goes out.
2 picks back and forth for each team here. And Tryhards loses both tanks now. That is not going to be allowing them to take the space. The Ant Matrix coming through from Short Stack already online. Whew, that was fast.
Absolutely. And I am kind of curious right now. Who is really checking that Pharah Mercy combo in the air? We see Zedda's already built up that barrage, but relatively speaking, I think it can only be up to Short Stacked and Hokage to try and get some value out of that. But there's the Blizzard.
Oh, and Hokage grabs Tater Thought right out of the sky as she tries to fly down. A couple picks are coming through from Casual Tryhards, and they are looking strong here on the point. There's the barrage on the high ground, putting in some of the damage, but it is all Superfluous on this Reinhardt here on the point. He just swinging away, got the nano boost, and now Casual Tryhards capping the point.
I'm not going to say that it was necessarily a bait, but it seemed like Quantum was holding onto that nano just to make that Reinhardt look incredibly low, which made Team Insidious be like, ooh, that's a nice little juicy Reinhardt we can take out of this fight right here, right now. And just as soon as they moved in, then boom, nano boosted. Uh-oh, suddenly he's big, he's scary, and he's in charge on the point. And that's ultimately what allowed for the casual tryhards to win that fight.
Hey, look, something shiny. Oh, it just swam over the trench.
Yeah, basically, sad times for everybody. If you're on Team Insidious.
Yes, and moving around this corner here, they actually launched their self-destruct over the top.
Oh.
Tater Thought is taken out by the self-destruct, gets caught in the back. Team Insidious now able to aggress forward, and they're going to be really happy with trying to hold this spot here and make Casual Tryhards attempt through the archway absolutely absolutely terrible.
Yeah, it's all good because the casual tryhards, they were able to disengage properly in order to reduce the respawn times. But now this is going to be a fight in the alleyways as the amplification matrix goes up.
High noon in the Ant Matrix walks straight through the portal, just like any of the timekeepers do. Earth Shatter finds 4 people, and there it is to
Ooh.
follow up with the Dragon
Ooh.
Strike. That
Ooh.
was a textbook combination right there. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, if that's not play of the game material, then somebody at Blizzard needs to fix Overwatch because that's exactly what we love to see. A perfect combination of that Reinhardt Earthshatter coming out and then just following up with the Dragon Strike. Once again, King's Row, very narrow corridors, and so it's even more difficult to stall that out. But now we're going to see one more contest from Insidious onto this point.
Sword stacked, absolutely clutch with that immortality field, popping it in time to prevent anyone from dying from the barrage. A couple people do go down though because the damage was there, lowering them significantly. And in the middle of a blizzard from Argentina, we've got a pause going on. Not sure quite what's happening, but Team Insidious obviously looking pretty strong here in the kill feed, and with the Blizzard throne, a lot of zoning going to be happening as well against the casual tryhards.
Argentine literally saw this team fight going on and was like, fine, I'll do it myself because he just walked in there, tossed out the blizzard, whips out the ice gun, shoots a couple of icicles, and it is going to be, in fact, a cold day in hell because those landed right into the domes of Archificus as well as Quantum, two incredibly important team members for casual tryhards. Because without Quantum, their Ana, that's going to deny just a lot of healing for the team in general because they still had Tater Thought on that Mercy, but that's not enough, you know? Like, Mercies can only pocket one at a time, and it's not as much burst healing as that Ana can provide. And Archificus has been extremely instrumental in bursting down Demon Breed's shield, but also to putting in a lot of damage and shutting down Hokage. Once again, Hokage, kind of the person that Team Insidious has been looking to in order to shut down the Pharah Mercy combo. So if Hokage's out of the fight, then that allows the Pharah Mercy combo to just kind of reign supreme. And
Totally.
honestly, you know, we talked about what the teams can do to kind of counter that Pharah Mercy. And it seems like Team Insidious has just decided to be like, well, we'll stun him and push him out of the way and then deal with the core people in front of us because that's pretty much what we see. We see the flash grenade come out, stop whatever's going on over there, throw the diva in their face, you know, just eat up a couple of rockets while the rest of the team moves forward into the casual tryhards. And obviously, when you're missing two of those members and they're not fast enough to kind of get back around and be able to start plunking in that damage, then Insidious is just able to roll over casual tryhards here.
Yeah.
So really great job by Argentine on this last fight to just kind of open things up with the picks onto Archificus and Quantum, because I think that is going to allow them to really stall out the second point. Now, Team Casual Tryhards, they still got 2 minutes and 30 seconds to make the second point, and usually the second point is an easier one to get. And so I think the real battle is going to be starting before that third point. You know, this is when it's like, you know, balls to the walls, fists to the heads, heads against the feet, all sorts of body parts all over the place because
Oh, yeah.
both of the teams are just going to be going into it. Hopefully no one gets thrown into the pit, but it's always a possibility. But Sid, I'm curious to hear from you, you know, what do you think right now is the strongest part of Team Insidious? Why are they working despite the fact that they do have this Pharah Mercy? They're going up against Pharah Mercy from the casual tryhards.
Short stacked. She has been absolutely clutch against the pharmacy combo in general and keeping her team alive. Every time the barrage is coming through, Immortality Field is available and
Absolutely.
is thrown. Thrown in time to actually save people. A lot of times, you know, maybe it's a little too late, and it is in this case not better late than never. It's not happening there, but short stacked has been consistently just throwing these immortality fields, keeping their teammates alive, and well, we'll have to see if she continues to do so. We're going back into game, and after a pause, everyone here reorienting a bit, and it looks like Zeta has been able to come back online. So glad they, doing all right. And if I read correctly, they're over in Florida handling some of the flooding stuff. So
Ooh.
best of luck and good vibes over to you, dude.
Absolutely. But I really like the point you made about short stacked being a little bit too good at what might some people could call the ultimate sport known as Frisbee. Those discs have been really instrumental in keeping things alive for their team, as well as just give an opportunity to breathe in order to heal things up or slow the momentum down comboed with Argentine's May walls here. But Zeta, even through the disconnect, probably didn't lose too much because they did just pop the barrage before the pause.
Yeah.
So thankfully, it's not another lost alt in DC, but these teams are fighting.
Immortality Field has been committed early, and the bunny hop forward catches so many people on Insidious. Superfluous just absolutely opened the doors for them to take this fight, but another shatter in response. Demon Breed was not happy about getting thrown on the ground. Answers in kind, and Team Insidious stalls the point here before the second checkpoint.
I'm not sure if you saw that, but Super Fluris was charging forwards, and then Hokage just pops the Deadeye, catching him mid-charge as it looks like he tripped over the barrier on point number two. You love to see it. But Demon Breed answering back so strongly with his Earth Shatter, throwing the entire team down and ultimately winning the team fight. Now, these teams are getting ready to engage. Right now, it's going to be Archificus with the Dragon Strike. If he can place this in a great position, then this could really open things up for casual tryhards.
Yeah, and my eye is on that nano blade and where, or not nano blade, the nano and where it's going to go. The
Can't
charge
know if
into the shield!
you're
He
dead.
just crushed it, and then no one was there to block the Diva Bomb coming up. That's the teamwork that we have been talking about from Team Insidious.
I was very excited for that nano. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, this is gonna be good. No matter where the nano goes, it's gonna find a high priority target, and then this should be the casual tryhards being able to do it. But then the Diva Bomb just went up, and well, Psychotic had a completely different idea. Now it's gonna be a fight to even get to the point as they're not even able to
No.
do so. So unfortunately, that is going to be a loss for the casual tryhards as Team Insidious win the map.
With um with T doing as good as they were on May, there was no way that he was going to let them get close enough with that wall. It was going to be hard funneling straight into the whole 9 yards of bullets from Demon Sidious. Just able to get those picks right at the end. But I mean, like you saw the bomb with the pin combo, and that is, I mean, you're stuck literally between a pin and a diva bomb. You gotta defend it. If you go to
That's not how
countercharge
that
him, you're
goes.
dead. And if you're pinned, you and your team it's a lot of losing.
Yep. It is a lot of losing. Overwatch thankfully overwriting past idioms because we in the future, baby. The present time is the only time for us. But now we're going to be watching these teams going over to Team Ilios. No, we're going to be going to Ilios. So let's see how these teams want to engage. I think last time we saw a control map, they both went rush. So
hmm
let's see how this goes because right now Team Insidious looking a lot better on the rush than the casual tryhards, but obviously both of these teams, maybe rush isn't their highest preference. As we see once again, there's going to be a little bit of the ball compositions coming in here. I'm here for it. I love me some wrecking ball. Bring on the chaos and bring on the hamsters, as I always say every time I go to bed.
You
I
know,
don't, by the way, just in case.
you should put that in your content video. It's just
Oh
like
no.
a compilation of you saying that before you go to bed.
So should I take down the poster hung up above my bed that I stare at affectionately of Hammond every single night, or is that okay?
I don't know. Affectionately staring at the poster.
I would say
Interesting.
affectionately, more motivationally staring at
There
this
you go.
poster.
Okay.
If he can do it, I can too. God damn it!
Hang in there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, they should make a hang in there version with Hammond.
Yeah,
Overwatch
pretty
should
much.
reboot all the motivational posters. That would be actually fantastic.
There is a huge market, and what I'm hearing right now, Sid, is excuse me, Blizzard marketing. Yes, hello, we've got ideas for you, TM, because we're going to be bringing in the big bucks, the big
Right?
hamster bucks specifically. But it looks
And
like our
check out our
pause.
resumes here.
Yeah, by the way, yeah. But we're
Of
going to be heading back into game now as we do have a little bit of a swap. It's going to be King coming in for Team Insidious. So let's see how King goes, replacing short stacked in the roster.
All right. So, obviously we've seen that anticipation and the reflexes from short stack. So, curious to see what Insidious is going to look like. And, maybe if we'll see an impact on comms and coordination as well. They've already started the fight here on the point. We saw the Hammonds engaging. Not surprising considering they just zip forward, but Archificus gonna open up the kill feed with a pick onto King and is actually taken down right after that. Now, casual tryhards evened up team fight wise, but the point has been captured in favor of Team Insidious. Another pick comes through, and that's gonna be Insidious pushing tryhards back.
Yeah, and once again, Insidious look so good. Even without that, even without King, Argentine once again showing us just how flexible he can play any single DPS hero. Now on the Genji, immediately when King fell down, he just went in and took things out on his own. But Archfigus is going to get that pick onto Argentine. Hokage trading that back, but this is going to be Team Insidious hanging on to this point for quite
Wow.
some time.
And I mean, Demon Breed getting that pick as well onto Archificus. Demon Breed has been right there next to both Argentine and Hokage every time. I mean, not there for Hokage. Hokage was way forward. But when they're coordinating their dives, he's there. He's following up and helping bail them out. That anti onto Victory Vespa was nasty, forcing them to use the self destruct, and they take the nano so they can live long
No,
enough to remake.
no.
Oh man, Quantum is going down to the minefield as Team Insidious continues to hold strong on the point here. Victory Vespa, the only tank on the point from casual tryhards, as the point is now at 65% and counting for Team Insidious.
I have to imagine that was a misclick here, but we are going to be seeing Argentine take it into his own hands, pulling out the Dragon Blade, getting a pick onto Tater Thought. As once again, the picks are just going to be coming through, so this is going to be just clean up right now for Team Insidious. But once again, that had to have been a misclick from Quantum, getting Victory Vespa just as they were re-entering into the mech, especially with Super Florist flying around in the back line. I'm sure that must have been the intended target, but unfortunately, that nano just kind of got wasted.
Looks like we're about to have a Widowmaker duel if Argentine can get back in time as well. Casual tryhards know this is last fight territory, and there it is. The barrage takes down Dream Psychotic. Pulse Bomb doesn't find anything coming through from Hokage, but the rallied nanoed brig of Yuri is so intimidating. No one wants to fight that in Overwatch. The res onto Quantum is absolutely massive for casual tryhards. That's a lot of sustainability back in the fight for this tank, and they are absolutely throwing everything they can to keep them alive and keep this fight alive. Now the supports were supporting each other. Wasn't enough though. No one's supporting them and the harassment they're receiving, and Insidious takes this first point.
What an absolute fight that was going on there. But once again, just Insidious just looks so good, and obviously there are other factors that are kind of contributing to this as well. But even though that they swapped out the King here, just kind of coming in here, it just looks great. And
Yeah.
no matter how, even if they lose that first opening pick, they've got the confidence to just continue to march forwards and make it work. So once again, hats off to Insidious. They really look good here.
And I think that Argentine on this Genji was a really nice pick. Argentine and Demon Breed I saw working together quite a lot for that last round. Argentine bit off almost a little more than he could chew, does get bailed out, but that long range shot came through and got him in the end. But I don't know. I think Argentine definitely has what it takes to continue diving forward. Zeta's matching him on the Genji now, so we are going to have hoppy, zippy ninjas for days on this fight. Tryhard's taking the point now as it's going to unlock soon, and now everyone is on there. That anti catches so many people on Tryhards, including both
Oh
supports.
no.
Archficus zips off the edge with Demon Breed, and all in all, Team Insidious coming out on top in the kill feed.
Yeah, it's so funny watching these two teams fight just because both of them they value just having their team all over the place, and you could just see individual battles happening all over the map. But ultimately, Insidious are able to come out on top. Archifike is trying to bring this back, taking out Yuri, but unfortunately isn't enough as well. They're doing a great job of stalling. I will give them that right
Yeah.
now. This
I mean,
fight's still going on here.
we've seen casual tryhards do this before, and once again, continuing to draw out every little bit of point possession. They've all regrouped. Look at this. Tanks are back, dodging that self destruct coming through from Dream Psychotic as they do get taken down. Another pulse bomb is thrown, this time from Hokage in response. And well, Team Insidious has still not been able to capture that point. Look at that little tick left for them to try and take. The mines are devastating, but tryhards are not giving up any of this space. 55% now and counting, and they are making the dream live with this fight.
Team Insidious, they might have gotten the king, but Casual Tryhards deserves the crown for stalling things out because that was
Yeah.
a ridiculous stall. And in the end, they didn't even give up the point. They were able to trickle back and take out a couple of the key members and able to just keep it alive. You don't see that every day, but hey, if you're ever wanting to stall out a point, Control is the best place to do so.
Yeah, and it's definitely where it is the most valuable for your team as you are, increasing your possession and the win bar. Blade is popped here from Zeta, finding two and two supports at that. It's even more devastating because Insidious is not going to have that sustainability, and that is terrible for them. Right before here, the end of the fight, last fight territory, they're going to have to do everything they can to try and stall out, just like we saw tryhards do before. Now it's Team Insidious who are in the hot seat once again. They are trying to take this fight back, but casual tryhards are continuing to be relentless and take down Insidious. The kills are back and forth, and now everyone is trying to find the damage. Tryhards finds the pick onto Demon Breed there, but their own diva is going down. It's just trying to clean up these last DPS from Insidious marks, and oh, the punch from Argentine into Quantum. This Doomfist gets 2 picks and 3 picks. Argentine so low on their health, absolutely clutching it for Team Insidious on this fight, keeping the dream alive. Oh my gosh, going toe to toe with casual tryhards and their stall game.
Oh man. Okay. Sorry, Casual Tryhards. We're gonna have to take that crown and give it back to Team Insidious because they just took the crown away from you in regards to stall. Argentine, is there a hero this guy can't play? Now he's on Doomfist and he's absolutely wrecking shop, punching Zeta right in the face, hitting him against the wall, shutting down that Genji immediately. And now, they can't lose the team fight, but Insidious are in a position to make this winnable.
Agreed. And Team Insidious, man, Argentine really showing his flexibility on different characters. This Doomfist switch, last minute, definitely a last minute stress switch for him to try and get back fast and have that high pick value for, those trickle fights in the last fight, OT bar time. But just huge value coming through from him, getting 3, single-handedly holding the fort down, and Dark Dream Psychotic eats a pulse bomb coming through from Archificus. Casual tryhards trying to find the value, and the boop onto King off the edge. It's a trade though as Argentine goes ahead and takes down that DPS. That self-destruct coming through, continuing to zone tryhards off as now Team Insidious continuing to tick the point up in their favor.
What a turnaround for Team Insidious right now, but they're definitely making it work. Things are looking incredibly good right now for them as they are in control at this point. They do have a couple of ultimates online, and that's going to be really important as Zeta and Quantum. Now, that's going to be a Nanoblade coming in here, so things are going to be a little bit scary. So let's see how things go.
Oh, Yuri gets the grenade lob over onto Archficus, so that's going to stall out a little bit of time. Thankfully, he gets back quick, so casual tryhards can continue to press forward. There is the Nano Blade coming through, just like you mentioned. It's got to be big, but it's tough with the sound barrier. King is managed to be cut down as Archficus gets another pick for casual tryhards now. The mines are everywhere on Team Insidious's side, but it's not enough to zone out casual tryhards. They're coming in full force, and they are pushing people off the edge and off the point at that. Points flipping over, and that is going to be overtime bar trickling down with casual tryhards going to take this point.
Oh my god,
Oh,
what a turnaround.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Okay, you love to see it. Once again, these points are so brawly right now, and that is 100% reflected in these compositions. Anytime you see a Genji, anytime you see a Doomfist, it's going to be like, all right, we're not looking to just run in there and play as a super tactical Rainbow Six team or anything like that. We're looking to get in there and just mess some people up, punch them around, slice through some people, throw some shurikens, shoot some lasers, all of that crazy stuff that Overwatch is kind of known for. And so you can just see how much of a back and forth those two teams were going because there were individual fights going on both sides. And ultimately, casual tryhards, they were able to turn that in their favor. But now we're going to the lighthouse. So, let's see some people thrown into the drink in the big dark hole in the middle. Let's see if 300 is going to be true. And let's see if this is Sparta. So let's see what happens.
I mean, I know I mentioned the pit of despair
The
earlier.
pit. Sorry, I have to do it.
And we'll see who actually goes ahead and takes the plunge. That anti-nade came through early on to Superfluous, but able to roll away. He just got pushed, booped out by Demon Breed, and thrown into the well. First person to be sacrificed to the gods below. Now that anti comes through, and Victory Vespa just lasered down after that.
Absolutely. The first sacrifice to the little god of the pit will start us off absolutely strongly. But that's something that each of these teams are going to have to be careful of because they both have hogs and one of them has Lucio's, but the other one's got a Farah, which can boot people in there. But as the mines come out onto the point right now, this is an excellent stall coming out from Team Insidious. I'm looking for casual tryhards to make that engagement work, especially with that ball. Mess up that back line and then just walk onto the point.
Nano comes through on to the Hammond, so we'll have to see if that brings any more value. But it's Archificus on the side with the high noon, continuing to put the damage in. Hokage goes ahead and turns on the aimbot for his ultimate. Visor flying away here across the well. People have to run for cover, but casual tryhards managing to flip the point in their favor and now have some possession ticking up. Hopefully they can stall it out a little bit more like we've seen, but so far Team Insidious has the numbers and are continuing to put that pressure.
Now, I'm not saying that Soldier 76 is a discount tracer, but the way that Hokage is playing this soldier is very reminiscent of that tracer, just ducking around corners, going on weird angles, and then just lighting them up and then backing off immediately. Make them doubt themselves for a second and then get the maximum value and back off. And we can see just how effective that has been. Unfortunately, though, he is going to be falling off the edge there. So not a great opening to this fight, but let's see how this goes as the mines get dropped.
Yeah, and an interesting minefield here from Victory Vespa, probably trying to zone out the pharmacy a little bit, but it's a little low to make her feel too paranoid as Team Insidious continuing to hold this point strong. I gotta say, Yuri's been throwing some very, very nasty nades, forcing casual tryhards back.
Absolutely. Yuri just on top of it, you look good in that blue color that you're on, but you know what you'd look better in? Purple. But actually, Archificus is going to be opening this up with a couple of picks as the minefields come down.
Oh man, and that early pick there onto King is great for casual tryhards. It was a very ambitious res, but looks like it's not going to be enough. Team Insidious just holding strong, continuing to aggress forward, and the laser beam, he gets slept out of it though. Quantum with a great sleep, but it's just Quantum on the point, and after that barrage, no one there to really save him or protect him. Now we've got the Hammond and Tater Thought here trying to do their best to hold the point, but it is a trickle game coming through as Team Insidious looking to take this last and final point here at the well.
And congratulations to Team Insidious. They looked absolutely dominant on their performance here. And once again, I think it just is an attestament to how they play as a coordinated team because individually, maybe not the most stellar performances that we've seen, but they're there for each other. And that's ultimately what's been working out here. And honestly, I'm just glad I got to make you laugh so much with some of my jokes tonight.
I had a great
pat
time.
myself on the back. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. I had a great time. I love that we, have our cameras up of each other too, so we can see all the fun facial expressions.
Absolutely.
And feels like more like we're in a booth together.
Right.
Future goals one day. But all in all, Team Insidious looking strong. I love the, plays that take just that split second of timing and communication that we see them executing and attempting to execute. Those are really the things that I think are going to continue to take them to the next level, especially as they refine them.
Absolutely. And once again, this is just a scrimmage map and sorry, not a scrimmage map, a scrimmage match. And we can see that Team Insidious and both the casual tryhards, they were trying out some new stuff here. And so, you got to practice on what you're not great at in order to improve and then be just all around really good. You know who was also good all around? Argent. That is going to be the one DPS player that I would be the most scared of if I ever had to play Team Insidious because right now they're showing the most flexibility and able to just work so well with the team. I'm not saying the team is necessarily playing around him, but
No.
he's able to clutch things up absolutely. So,
And that's
yep,
a
go ahead.
good distinction I think that you made actually is that the team's not playing around him. He is playing with the team and they're working as a unit. I think
Yeah.
we've seen a lot of times DPS gets put on this platter and people really try to enable them and work around them to get those picks, and that's a lot of pressure on the one person to perform. And so yeah, I think that was a very excellent observation that he is not being played around, that he is very much part of the team. And I wouldn't want to be caught by either of those DPS personally. With how many pulse bombs were thrown, I still feel
Yo,
bad for Archificus.
Archificus was trying his best. He was trying his best, but unfortunately, when you get a
uh,
pulse bomb on your back and you're just a lowly little McCree, then you're just like, well, I'm just going to shrug a little bit because I'm going to blow up in a couple of seconds.
yeah.
And that's what was happening.
Totally. And once you're caught, you're caught. The only thing you can do is hope that no one else is around you. We saw the confetti firework explosion happen on Route
Oh, yeah.
66.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! But, we're going to go to a quick break. We're going to grab Short Stack and have a chat with her and talk about some of the lovely support plays that we saw coming through from the scrims tonight, folks. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey, folks, and welcome back to the Killshot Esports Scrims this evening. We are covering Team Insidious against Casual Tryhards, and, well, quite a dominant performance from Team Insidious. We have joining with us in the interview booth, Short Stacks, which I mean, you guys were with us on the broadcast. You heard about us raving about her on that BAP, especially when we were going up against the Farah. Short stacked. Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us and really excellent job tonight in your scrims.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm really flattered. Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. I gotta say, I was impressed with your reaction time and anticipation in your support role. Mentioned that Baptiste in particular with those immortality fields. What's kind of your mindset when you're getting ready for some kind of bombardment like that, or how are you coordinating the team around it?
I'm just I'm trying to make sure as many people stay alive as possible. And from there, it's just I don't know. Sometimes I press E and it just happens. I don't know.
That is that shows that you have it drilled into you and you don't actually have to think about it. Maybe that's where I go wrong, is that I still have to think about it instead of just having the reactionary instinct, right?
Mm.
Um, Very apparent that you have that as well. What do you do to practice that and really, work your skills and try to improve? What's that like behind the scenes?
Oh, that's easy. I queue with Explosion or with Rob, and they just yell at me.
That would do it. That would do it, huh?
Yeah, that's
Some
some reinforcement.
constructive duoing criticism.
Uh,
Yeah, they're usually right. So
And actually, I am kind of curious. When Team Insidious gets into these team fights, one thing that really stood out to me was how effective you guys were at peeling back for some of your players. Just moving together as a unit, being able to support one another. So when you're in the middle of like an absolute brawl, what are the comms like? Is it just people yelling back and forth, or is it kind of just like, we need this, I need this? How does that kind of get handled?
sometimes it gets a little cluttered. I will
Mhm.
say Demon does a lot of the shot calling and
Okay.
starts to say, "Okay, this is our point of focus. Like, let's put all our attention on the diva here." Um, he does a lot of that. It's really good. He has really good calls. And then on top of that, our DPS, like, it's very go with the flow. If they see something, they're sorry. Like, the question that gets asked a lot is anybody low? And then
Mm.
from there, we just kind of go with the flow and find that person who's low.
Okay, nice. And I do want to say, like, both you and Yuri were doing an absolute great job of like diving, dodging out of the way, and keeping yourselves alive in order to just keep your team alive. And I think that there is a real talent for that coming out from you guys. But I did have a follow up question to this. We did see casual tryhards. They did get a couple of rounds on you, and so there are, you guys are looking not completely immortal here, but what do you think are going to be some of these next steps for things for you guys to practice on in order to kind of iron it out and become immortal?
I don't know if we'll ever hit truly immortal, but
Not with that attitude.
it's a lot of pressure.
Fair, 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 fair.
I think as far as next steps for us is to sometimes clean up our comms. Like I think with any team, we can get a little stressed out, and then we put a lot of that onus on like maybe one person just to kind of carry the comms, which isn't. I wouldn't call that fair. So maybe if we could like work on that, that would be super helpful. And then I know sometimes our support, just because that's where my focus is, like sometimes we get flanked and we don't handle a flank well. Instead, we like end up calling for peel. So maybe working on just doing more damage in the back line, that would be interesting.
The aggro support, I love to hear it.
Yeah.
You got it. Battle Zens all day, battle Baptistes, BB. It's alliteration right there. But okay, thank you, Sid. Do you have anything else you'd like to ask?
What has been your experience on Team Insidious? What's the culture like? And, what's some of your favorite parts about being on the team?
Oh man. I really this is
Lots to
such
think
a
about.
cool yeah, it's such a cool group of people, which is a pleasant surprise because sometimes esports is not kind with the type of people you find. I don't know, like,
Yes.
specifically in comp queuing, like, if you solo queue in comp, that's different than, like, being on a
Yeah.
team, but you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it doesn't go your way, but this group of people, I don't think we've really had a problem with toxicity like more than maybe once or twice. It's been really great. It's just an overall great group of people, and I like to make brownies and like mail them to people. That's my sign of friendship.
Oh, cute.
I'm sure those are some great brownies for your friends over there. I gotta say, it's very apparent that you guys have good synergy. we can see you guys making the plays, trying to make those, half-second timed plays. And you guys are really refining it. We saw a lot of great evolution of those throughout the maps. But short stack, it is getting late. You have played a lot of fantastic games. Is there anyone you want to shout out in particular or thank before we close out the evening?
I mean, if I can say the whole team, I'm gonna say the whole team because they did a really good job. Communications were pretty clear tonight, and I'm proud of all of us. And it was really fun to pocket explosion tonight because he kind of went off. So add
Hey.
that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Short Stacks. And like we said before, really fantastic job in the scrims this evening. And, good luck to you and everything that you do in the future and growing. I'm sure you'll see Marks and I back here once again. But have a great rest of your evening. And thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to see you guys do more streaming and helping us out. Awesome.
Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us for our scrims this evening here at Killshot Esports. Team Insidious has been showing a lot of growth over the past weeks against different opponents of different levels. Marks, anything you want to say before we got to sign off for the night?
Once again, I'm just happy that I got some people to laugh at my dumb jokes tonight. So I'm gonna call this one a win.
Dumb is definitely not how I would describe them. We're casters, so we make some cheesy
This is so
jokes.
wholesome
Okay.
right now.
I made the try
Shorty's
hard
over there
joke, so.
sending out brownies to people. You're being so nice to me. Oh my god.
Well, folks, we had a great time being here with you. And if you enjoyed hanging out with us as well, feel free to give us a follow on Twitter. You'll see our schedules pop up in our different tweets. Big thanks to behind the scenes magic of Juggle God, who anyone who's been a regular here at this community has seen before on the play by play casting. So tonight, he was the horsepower making the magic happen for all of us today. Big thanks to everyone at Killshot, of course, for helping put this on. And folks, I hope you have a great rest of your evening and are looking forward to a Friday tomorrow. Have a great night.
Bye everyone.